So this coalition mess has translated into One Nation seeing a big surge in popularity. And in a significant development overnight on Sky News, Pauline Hanson says she would be prepared to team up with the coalition to form government at the next election.
That's the only way to move forward, because I'm not going to be government, and either is, by the looks of it, either is the coalition or the National Party. So the fact is that I am a Conservative at heart, and I would work with them to give them supply. Would I join up to the rabble that they are at the moment? No way in the wide world.
Joining me live now is Nationals leader David Littleproud. So, do you like that offer?
Oh, look, the National Party has been true to our values and principles for over 100 years. We'll continue to do that. That's been proof in the results of our election results over the last 3 or 4 elections that we've held on to all our seats, and in fact nearly won a miracle seat in Bendigo with a double-digit swing to us when the rest of the coalition vote was tanking. So I think what we've done over the last 4 years is make sure we stay true to who we are. We've been able to demonstrate that, and I think that's what the Australian people are looking for, authenticity. That you say what you're going to do, you stand up for what you say you believe in, and in that moment, your moment, you prove it. And when we talk about the complexity of the issues back in January around the hate speech laws, that was about taking away freedom of speech. And we took a principled position where proper process wasn't afforded to us. We did nothing wrong. We believe passionately in protecting that, because over 100,000 Australians have lost their lives defending that principle of free speech. So why wouldn't we make sure we do what the people who sent us here stand up in that moment? And I'm proud of what we did, and we did nothing wrong, and we'll work constructively with the Liberal Party in the future. I hope that's where we can get to, and my intention and intent is that there will be a coalition at some point in the future, well before the election. That's the intent that we've demonstrated and will continue to demonstrate, but we've acted with integrity and with respect through this whole process.
One Nation, though, could One Nation be part of a coalition, an agreement for supply in order to form government, given where their polling's at the moment?
Yeah, and considering where we are in terms of the electoral cycle, I think everyone just needs to take a cold shower, focus on working out who they are and what they are. The National Party knows it explicitly who we are. I think a lot of this is just a little bit of entertainment rather than let's just work calmly and constructively to make sure that we are able to articulate and hopefully one day in the near future get back as a coalition. That's my intent, but I don't intend to let the National Party become a faction of the Liberal Party, and I don't think the Liberal Party would want us anyway. It has worked well because we've been able to, on some issues, have different values and principles, and that's okay. And we've used the machinery of the coalition to be able to debate that in forums within the coalition, like the Joint Party Room, to be able to get to a final position. And that's what served us well in the past, and that wasn't afforded to us in this particular case. And that's why we had every right to do what we did to stand up for our belief and to do that. And we're respectful of the Liberal Party if they had a different view. But when proper process wasn't afforded, I mean, what were we to do? Were we just to roll over? I didn't come to Canberra to roll over and have my tummy tickled. I came here to look the people in the eye that I represent and say, I did what you asked me to do, and I did it despite what consequence and what actual resistance we took.
But what about your future relationship with One Nation? Would you consider some kind of deal, whether it's just confidence and supply? I mean, as Pauline Hanson said last night, she's a Conservative at heart. It's not like you're poles apart on your ideological values. Why wouldn't you consider such a deal, David?
Well, I think we're talking about a hypothetical some 2 years into the distance. Let's just calmly focus on ourselves and make sure that we can work out who we are so that we can say to the Australian people, we can put in front of you a clear proposition that you can see and have faith and trust in. I think the National Party's demonstrated that.
Our electoral, then it would be your preference to sideline One Nation. It would be your preference to deal with the Liberals and not have to deal with One Nation. Is that right?
Well, again, I don't work in hypotheticals that will be 2 years down the track. What I'm saying is that the National Party knows who we are. We are putting that in front of the Australian people, and we've done that and haven't lost a seat since 2007 because we know who we are and what we represent. And what we want to do is to be able to get rid of Anthony Albanese. Now, what happens in 2 years' time, I don't intend to engage in running commentary on because all it does is add to the mystique and to the hyperbole of Canberra. Let's just be calm, considered,
yeah, sure.
and
but
work
the
through the
mystique
issues
and
that we've got at the
hyperbole
moment.
that is coming out of Canberra, I mean, you're playing your role in that. Can I put it to you that you don't want to even entertain the idea of being involved in any kind of coalition with Pauline Hanson, because that would signal to your voters that they can vote for One Nation and perhaps be a party of government?
Well, we actually take anyone that runs against the National Party seriously as a threat, and they are trying to take away the National Party's voice in Parliament to represent the people that we've been able to achieve so much for. So this is why, engaging in this sort of hypothetical nature does nothing other than to play into a political narrative that is only a hypothetical. The reality is anyone that runs against the National Party is a threat to the National Party. We take them seriously, but we've got a track record of delivering for regional Australians because we've actually been in government. We've been a party of government that the coalition has been able to deliver hundreds of billions of dollars to regional Australia because the National Party's been in the room. We want to get back to that juncture. The reality is anyone that runs against the National Party is a threat to the National Party and threat to delivery of services and infrastructure to regional Australia.
Let's get back to the issue at hand then with the Liberal Party and the traditional coalition. You say you did nothing wrong. Well, why then did those 3 senators offer their resignations?
Well, those 3 resignations went in with a 4th letter, and much of the commentary that's come out of this place fails to actually talk about that, but for their own reasons, their own professionalism, I can't answer. But the reality is this, the 3 individual letters were sent out of respect to Susan Lee as the leader of the coalition, that we differed with her opinion that we'd breached cabinet solidarity, and that it was the 4th letter that came from the National Party party room that made it very clear, while we respect her view that she believed that we breached shadow cabinet despite that substantive bill not being presented to shadow cabinet, not presented to leadership nor a joint party room, that we had breached nothing, that we didn't accept that premise, but out of respect, those individuals showed the leader of the opposition the respect that she deserved. But the party room had a 4th letter that made it very clear that we don't accept that premise, and to accept those 3 resignations would start the chain of events. So we were very clear. We were very upfront in terms of the transparency of our position about how the National Party got there. And this is the respect that we've shown. And I'm proud of our room to be able to show that respect to the Leader of Opposition all the way through in the heat of the moment. And for us to even abstain in the House to wait for it to come back to the Senate to vote against it, we showed restraint and we showed respect. But we had a principled position when we weren't afforded the proper forums to be able to debate a very substantive bill that took away your freedom of speech.
Okay, we are where we are. Right now, there has been talks between you and Susan Lee. There has been little progress, but some. She's put forward this idea of being benched for 6 months. Will you cede ground on those suspensions? Why not have the senators sit out for a few months for the sake of getting the coalition back together?
Oh, look, I'm not going to give a running commentary of the position of our room. I don't think to publicly air that acts in a constructive way, and the integrity and the respect that I've just articulated.
Though? But are you willing to cede some ground there without going into details? Where are you at?
I'm not giving any answer apart from saying that that'll be a matter for my party room, disrespects the process and
have you put it to
flies
the
in
party
the face
room?
of the answer I just gave you. Again, the party room discussions are ones that we have, and every detail has been provided to my party room. We share that. We have continual updates in terms of anything that's provided to us, and we get to this decision not as a unilateral one made by me. This is a decision made by the collective. as something as substantive as this, and I'll respect that process as well.
So there's no captain's calls from you?
Well, not on something as substantive as this. We're talking about the coalition. I would have thought that it's important that our party room understands everything that transpired. We had over 10 party room meetings during those 2 days on that Monday and Tuesday.
The three senators, as I understand it, I think what you're saying is the three senators aren't willing to be benched for 6 months. So is it up to them?
Well, no, what I'm saying to you is that is a decision that we as a collective, because if I go back to my previous answer, Laura, we sent a letter that accompanied those 3 resignations to Susan Lee. Our party room took a position to say that they had done nothing wrong, we had not breached cabinet solidarity, and that 4th letter accompanied those 3 letters to clearly articulate our position, and that if they were sacked, then the rest of the party, the National Party Ministry would resign and it would make the coalition untenable.
All right, let me try one more.
We've been very clear about that.
Try one
been
more.
Consistent.
David, you've seen the comments from John Howard overnight. He says Susan Lee should make further concessions. Any suggestion as to where she could make further concessions today?
No, again, I'm not going to have a running commentary. I don't think it shows respect to the Leader of the Opposition. And, you know, I welcome John Howard. He's a great coalitionist. His involvement and obviously the intent is that there will be a coalition, and we want to work through these matters in a practical and respectful way.
Is the party room going to meet today?
Well, again, we'll work through those processes as events evolve.
But no plans yet?
That'll be a matter for our party. Well, I'm not going to ruminate what's happening within the National Party on national media. That doesn't show respect.
Okay. David, thank you. I try.